Ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RealVets podcast. We're in a special place today. We are being hosted by Aligned Mortgage and our most generous lender, Kyle Melvin. What's up, Kyle?
What's up? And I did not provide beers, so my apologies on that.
That's our hearty felt.
In this super badass media room y'all have here in your office in Mission Valley, this place is impressive, dude.
Yeah, I did everything myself.
You did, I can tell. That's why everything's crooked and like painted wrong, right?
You got it.
Yeah. Everything's black and white.
Yeah.
Tip of the spear colors.
I love it.
Perfect.
It's like we work together or something.
Yeah.
All we need is just a big Tip of the Spear logo right there.
That's what we
on
ought
the
to do is put
glass.
one right in this
Yeah.
window.
I'm sure we can work out a deal. You guys pay some rent. We're good to go.
I'll hit up my broker. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Just
this is
take over
the... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, we'll just take over like the west wing of your whole office and call it ours.
That works.
That's okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't
Absolutely.
This may be the first time that we're all on camera and on the mic together.
mind. Oh, yeah.
So
Dang.
let's start off with our fearless team leader. Introduce yourself.
I'm Brian Britton Still, of Tip of the Spear Real Estate Team Still.
All right.
Same old.
Same old Brian. That's awesome. I am Nate Shermer, Ops Manager, and our newest addition.
Yay.
Hi guys, I'm Hasmin Fuentes. I just recently joined the team as of 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
I'm very
Hey.
excited to be here. Thank
It's
you.
awesome.
guys.
Welcome.
Sweet. Glad to have you. Yeah, I'm Jake Smoke, still here on weather.
Emmeline Park, still here.
I thought you were going to say sports.
Yes.
I'm Line Park Sports.
Kyle Melvin, and Nate said it with Aligned Mortgage. So, welcome.
Yeah, thanks. It's great to be
thanks
here,
for having
bud.
us.
Yeah.
In your house.
So one of the things that we wanted to touch on was reconsideration of value with the VA loan. So do you guys want to touch on that story and tell the story on how you were able to overcome the VA's low appraisal?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Start with probably with what Tidewater is, I guess, because not a lot of people, even agents, know that. So anyway, so when we order the appraisal and then the appraiser goes out and he thinks that it's going to be coming at lower value, before he gives the report to us, he lets everyone know, like as a lender, be like, hey, you guys have 2 business days to submit any kind of comps that justify this purchase price, because I think it's going to come in low. So at that point, the agents can send in their best comps and put it together in this Tidewater grid, they call it, and then submit it back to the appraiser. Then he takes that into consideration and then uploads the report. And, sometimes it comes back at value. Sometimes it still comes in low. So that's what Tidewater is. And then the way to fight that is the ROV, which is reconsideration of value. So, Brian, you want to tell a background story on our example?
Yeah, so we had a client that Kyle and I worked with. She's a doctor in the Navy. Her and her fiance were PCSing out here from the East Coast. They gave us a call. We did a virtual buyer consult, all that stuff. Started showing them houses. They were looking for something near downtown, little cool, little 1-bedroom type place. So we showed them a whole bunch of houses. Nate came in for the assist on a lot. We got a funny story about that one, where he had to jump fences to get into a place one time. But found him a place, got our offer accepted, got an escrow, everything's moving forward. The inspection went well, everything's going well. Then we get this notice that Tidewater's been invoked. So we're like, what the hell? How is that even possible? We had comps for days for that place. And when I say comps, just for listeners, before we write offers or open an escrow on a house, we always want to know how much the property's worth, right? So we'll do what's called a comparative market analysis, which basically tells us how much the property's worth based on recent sales in the area that are similar properties, right? So we do that before we write every offer, just to make sure that we're not writing an offer that's gonna, if we do run into a Tidewater situation, that we have the ability to defend our price. This one was no exception. I think we're $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 over what we could, or under what we could justify, I should say. So we had the ability to justify that all day long, right? We can notice the Tidewater. all of us are very confused about it. So, okay, no big deal. Call the listing agent, let her know what's going on. Went through, and I actually ended up calling another appraiser that I had worked with in the past. It's a VA appraiser also, just to pick his brain, because I've dealt with Tidewater before. I've had it happen before. But I wanted to know exactly what this appraiser's looking for. So I called this other guy. He gave me just all kinds of information, gave him the address. He ran comps, sent him to me. He's the same thing, justifying 40, 50 over kind of thing. Taught me exactly how to fill out the reconsideration grid. So I did it exactly the way he said it. We submitted it in with our list of like 10 or 12 comps or something like that. The 3 that were on the forum, and then a bunch more just to be super thorough. And we get back 2 days later that the property's value came in $27,000 under, or $27,000 over, I should say. Meaning the appraiser thinks that the house is worth $27,000 less than our agreed upon price, right? So I'm like, what the hell, right? What is going on here? Kyle sent me the appraisals, or the appraiser's report. I looked at their comps, and their comps were bunk, dude. They were terrible. This is a 1-bed, 1-bath condo. They were comping. The appraiser used comps that were studios that were 200 or 300 square feet smaller, which is a lot because the place was already like 900 square feet, right? Deducting points and deducting money. I think one of the things that he deducted was one of his comparable properties was on a 5th floor of the building right next to it, so he deducted like $50,000 in value.
Makes sense.
Which is really funny because the house that we had in escrow was also on the 5th floor. So why is this one $50,000 less than this one when they're both on the exact same floor? How do you justify that? Anyway, so we're pissed. I explained the situation to the listing agent. Asked for a little bit more time. They were amicable, luckily for us. And Kyle and I started the process of getting a hold of the VA and basically disputing the appraisal, right? Which, if you want to take over from here a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's just putting together the ROV package, basically. So, I mean, the whole point of it is appraisers are human too, human beings too. Allegedly, yeah.
So they say.
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole thing is, I mean, they get stuff wrong, so it's checks and balances, right? So, we put together the package, and the appraiser that Brian got and sent the comps, and a letter from the veteran, letter from Brian as well. And then we submitted that to the VA, and then they're able to, review that and say, hey, actually these comps are more like, use these comps as opposed to the one that the appraiser used, and then it actually came back at value. So the VA has the ability to override the appraiser. So that was a big success story because, I mean, I think we closed within 3 days, and I mean we did that like 6 months ago or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe longer.
It was about in the middle of the year last year. Yeah,
but we just saw them at one of our client appreciation parties, and they're loving the spot and. All those expensive HOAs, $800 a month downtown, but they love it. They get dry cleaning service and all that stuff.
Yeah, they got a badass place too, man. There's a pool, jacuzzi. They got saunas, both a wet and a dry sauna. They got a big old hot tub, a big old gym. There's whole concierge. That building's amazing. Yeah, I understand the $800 a month HOA based on their amenities that they get out of there. Yeah. So I mean, if anyone's listening and you guys get low appraisals or as an agent, like, there's ways to fight it for sure, especially at the VA, because I mean with conventional there isn't. It is what it is. So I mean that's a good thing with the VA loan. So there's a few key things that need to be mentioned when you're putting that ROV package together. So if you're an agent and you're in this situation, reach out to us and we're happy to help you out. I actually had a friend of mine who's with another brokerage that's dealing with the same situation right now just reached out to me and was like, hey, have you ever dealt with this? I was like, yep. So I gave him everything that I had. Kyle and I actually put a whole lessons learned kind of AAR type, debrief type class together for it. And, gave the situation, the whole sequence of events, what we got from the appraiser, what the VA told us, how we were coached to make the thing happen and all that stuff. And they're working on their ROV based on our situation too. Had the buyer write a letter, the veteran wrote a letter similar to ours. The agent wrote a letter similar to mine. All the stuff that we did, they're doing it pretty similar. And when we were talking to the people at the VA Regional Loan Center, they told me that there's specifically a few things that they're looking for, right? And we need to make sure that those are all annotated in the ROV package. So we made sure that those things were in there, stated several times. and sent it out. And it was, within, they say give them like 7 to 10 business days. But also we were calling them pretty much consistently, like 2 or 3 times a day. Like, hey, is it in yet? Hey, is it in yet? Hey, is it in? Yeah, it's in. Okay, cool. Are you guys done with it yet? Do you figure it out yet? You're going to make my client homeless. What the hell, And eventually we were able to get it overturned. So it worked out pretty well. So, but yeah, if, like I said, if you're an agent, if you're a lender, if you're whoever that's looking or that's in the situation, we can do our best to help you out. So don't be afraid to reach out. I don't care what brokerage you're with. Our goal is to make sure that our veterans are taken care of. So, if that's a situation that you're in, hit us up. We'll help you out.
Very cool. Was there anything else on the ROV that you guys want to touch on?
Not really. I mean, I think we kind of went in the weeds on it too. I mean, the biggest thing is just, reach out. I mean, there's people that, have been through it before. I just had one overturned 2 weeks ago. Another one. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's possible once you crack the code, man.
Yeah.
But there is a lot to it. And I don't want to bore people. I don't want to bore our listeners with everything that there is to it. There's a lot to it. So like I said, if you're in that situation, just reach out to us. We'll sit in the phone with you for 15, 20 minutes and tell you what you need. And send you an email with all the stuff we did so that you can do it too. So yeah.
Right on.
All right. So a lot of it, what I hear is collaboration, right? And you've been collaborating and working with Kyle for years. So I'm going to kind of flip it. Instead of Kyle talking about himself, why don't you say what it is about Kyle that
I don't know if I like
keeps you going back?
No, I don't.
And
tell us
have
the
him
dirt,
as
bro.
your preferred lender.
Oh, I don't like him. I'm about to fire him, actually.
I got a lot of dirt on Brian years ago.
So you'll be next.
Pictures and everything.
Oh,
so,
God.
So after he talks good about you,
Yeah.
So Kyle's a great guy
So
now
play
that he
nice.
says that.
Yeah.
No, Kyle and I started working together pretty early when we had both, he got into lending a little bit, maybe a few months before I got my real estate license. And really early on, I decided that I wanted to specifically work with military and veterans, taking care of our own kind of thing and their families and stuff like that. So I got on Google and I Googled best lender in San Diego County, and his old company they used to work with came up. So I gave him a call and was, explain my situation. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, looking to freaking team up with a lender that's, that's solid, that knows VA loans. Who do you got? They said, we'll have somebody call you. So Kyle called me later that day. We sat down for lunch like a few days later and just kind of, talked like, what are you about? What am I about? What are our business goals? Figured out that one thing that's very important for me is that I always want to put my clients first, right? My clients' needs are before my own. Always, always, always. Do the right thing and money follows, right? Take care of people. Forget about the rest. And Kyle was in that same line of thinking as me. We take care of our clients first, whatever. The rest of it will come, but first you take care of our clients. For me, that's really important because, there's so many real estate agents out there. There's so many lenders out there. There's so many people in our industry out there that don't know shit about the veteran world, that don't know shit about how, veterans' trials and tribulations, that don't know shit about the active duty life, about PCSing, about deployments, about this, that, and like just how, op tempo, all that stuff. There's so many people that have no fucking idea how that works. And on top of that, there's so many lenders out there that have no idea how the VA loan works, what to look out for, don't know how the appraisals work, don't know anything about VA loans. And it blows my mind, especially us being here in San Diego County. We have a huge population here. That's a very, very large segment of our population here. So for people to not know what they're talking about, it's crazy to me. But, Kyle's very, very well versed with the VA loan. He knows it very well. We've all experienced that working with him. He knows exactly what he's talking about all the time, which is great. The client care thing is the most important thing to me. He always puts our clients as, top of the priority list. Their needs are first. How many times have you and I had a deal going where, we pulled the plug at the last second, forfeited paychecks for both of us and got a client out of a shitty situation because it wasn't in their best interest.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, we've done that a couple for sure.
So
Absolutely. Like right before closing.
Yeah, right before closing. The Escondido one
Yeah.
with the pipes.
The
Oh my
pipes.
God. Yeah. So that's happened plenty of times.
gross.
even though, yeah, it was pretty nasty. Even though,
Really gross.
I mean, it kind of sucks when you're, especially because that was,
Traumatized.
yeah, it was
Video of the pipes were gross.
Oh man, it was a sewer
Without
line
going
problem
yeah,
and just
sewage
God.
problem. You can put the pieces together from there.
It was bad, but we were able to save that veteran. He was a Marine Corps veteran. We were able to save him from like a $15,000 headache that he was about to have to take on himself, and he never ended up buying. Right, he never ended up buying a house after that. He was, the wind was a little out of his sails and stuff like that. Still a great dude, got no problems with it. And at the end of the day, I see it as not that I didn't get a paycheck. I see it as though I helped protect my client from walking into a beehive or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the house was a shit show, dude.
A poop hive.
Poop hive, yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
That house was one flush away from becoming an above ground septic tank, dude. Like it was gnarly, but we helped him out. And while it kind of sucked because both of us were pretty new in the game still, we didn't have a lot in our pipelines back then, and it kind of hurt a little bit. But at the end of the day, forfeiting a paycheck to make sure that he was taken care of the way that he needed to be taken care of was, that was fulfilling for me. I was happy about it. I mean, Kyle and I both talked about it, and we're like, yeah, dude, this is the best move. Let's advise him to pull the plug. And, we both talked to him about it. Fuck, dude, we're 3 days away from closing, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talked and like, hey man, this isn't in our client's best interest. And, knowing that Kyle was about that, it was like, hey, yeah, fuck this house. Let's get him out of it. We'll find him something cooler or whatever. And that's how that happened. And, neither one of us complained about it. Both of us were like, hey, dude, we helped this dude out. We freaking saved him. We protected him. That's what we wanted. That's our whole mission, working together and stuff. And, for that kind of stuff Kyle is to me, it's a no-brainer to work with him.
Do you want to hug it out?
Right now,
Go for
from
it.
across the table. Come on, bud.
You know what? And these are the reasons
Don't
why.
cry. Don't cry.
These are the reasons why it really matters who you work with, right? Because as a team here, Kyle included, like, we're about quality over quantity,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
we got to be able to sleep at night knowing that our clients are able to sleep at night, that they're in a home that they love and enjoy, and it's not falling apart around them, right?
Yeah.
We don't want our clients mad at us after
Yeah.
closing, and
Yeah.
that they don't say anything, but they're secretly like, oh, that's shady agent. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what you want.
We don't play the shady agent
You know,
game.
Yeah.
a lot of people put realtors and people in this industry in a negative light. They just are unaware of what we go through on a daily basis behind the scenes.
Sure. But also, there's some really shitty agents out
Yeah,
there.
understood.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Understood, but we're not them, right?
Totally.
So, like, we fight for our clients, and it shows by the example you guys just stated, right?
Yeah.
It's huge.
I agree.
And like you said, we're quality over quantity. Even on the back end, we recently just changed our client management platform because they wanted us and they insisted that we get them into our database if someone's looking after 3 clicks. We said, no, we want them to look at multiple properties, multiple clicks before requiring somebody to sign in.
Yeah.
So
It's all about providing value, dude.
So now I'm going to flip it back to you. Why do you work with this team? How is the team different in your eyes compared to other teams?
I mean, a lot of it, I don't want to repeat the same thing, right? I mean, a lot of the examples and stuff that Brian said, though, is very true. I mean, the character and the motivation and the drive of this team is every reason that I love working with him. And then it's like trickled down into working with you and then you and now and then Yasmin here. It's just everyone's in it for the right reasons, It's just good quality people, former military service members, so you guys obviously care about your brothers and sisters. And yeah, it's just the quality over quantity, but just knowing that if I work with you guys or send you guys a client, like I know that they're getting the absolute best service, and you guys are kind of a no bullshit type of team too, where it's like you'll have those hard conversations that other agents are scared because it might scare the client off, but you're going to be very upfront about it and tell it exactly like it is. Which is the way a lot of military members like it, right? Like, hey, don't beat around the bush. Let's just cut to the chase here. Because like Jake said, a lot of agents and lenders or people in our industry, like they do a really shitty job, and it puts us in a bad a bad spotlight, if you will, or a bad reputation where I'm a used car salesman because of other lenders in the past, you know?
Right.
So it's up to us to provide that service. And also, like you said, use the example, you provide a good service to people and the money will follow, right? I mean, like, we all got to put food on our family's table, but it's if you do the right thing, that's going to lead to people telling their coworkers about you and telling their neighbors about you.
Yeah.
And it just trickles down like that. So
Yeah.
that's mainly, you know, one of the main reasons why I like working with all you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Not as long-winded as Brian.
I'll talk your fucking ear
Yeah.
off, dude.
Very cool. Well, I'm gonna let you guys talk a little bit too. You guys all came from somewhere else. So what brought you to Tip of the Spear? Let's start with you, Em. What was the draw for you?
I think a lot of kind of what Brian and Kyle have mentioned already. Just the motivation and the drive, I could sense that from the team. No bullshit. I just want to kind of, be honest up front with my clients, and they've all pretty much repeated the same feedback to me, is like, you're honest, you're good at communicating, you just tell me how it is, and they really, that's where the trust, I think, really comes from.
Yeah. People can tell when you're feeding them bullshit.
Yeah. I don't want to be some fake agent, that's just, trying to put on a show and, just, they know my sphere, they know how I am, who I am, my background, how I've been in the military, how I am now, and I think that's what they like and trust. And I just, being around veterans, I think just being around and having the camaraderie, and, that's who I am. I'm still in, and I want to be around my family, because I don't have physical family here in California with me. So the military is my family. So, and just, you guys are my brothers, my sisters, and
Yeah, I love that. And I agree. I mean, that's something that so many people, that served get out and they move back home or they stay or whatever they do. But the people that they served with, go to the wind, you start losing contact with people. And I think that's something that a lot of people from the military miss the most, is having your best buds there with you all the time. Your brothers and sisters are right there with you all the time. Your whole support network's right there. So I think in creating this team, I think that's one of the biggest things that, that I really enjoy about having this, is because of exactly what you're talking about, Em. Having our freaking stupid water bottle, having us all around, like, we're all similar in mindset. We're all here for each other. We're all here to take care of each other. And at the end of the day, like, the fact that, just like, what Kyle was talking about earlier, it's a long freaking day and you're here super late, and it's like, well, it's beer time. Let's keep working, but let's crack a beer and maybe tell some jokes and keep each other motivated and all that stuff. Yeah, I love that shit, man.
Speaking of, I noticed you have a knife out.
He
After all
forgets
that,
he's on camera.
he's like, yeah, there's a knife on the table right now.
I didn't forget I was on camera.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Brian doesn't change. He's always
No, I know.
himself, no matter what.
I'm surprised it's not bigger, but yeah.
I lost my other one. I think it's in my truck, but this is my backup pocket knife.
Oh, okay,
I had
cool.
something in
All
my
right, I got
hand.
you covered.
Hey, thanks. I had something. I think it was a splinter. I don't know. It's not there anymore, but there's something in there.
That's probably loud.
How about you, Hasmin? How did you come to be a part of this team?
Interesting. Eric introduced me to Brian.
Eric Tide, team leader, freaking Keller Williams, East San Diego Foothills.
Eric
Disclaimer.
introduced me to Brian. And I met with Brian, and after meeting with Brian, it was like, he was completely honest. We were both having a genuine conversation during the interview, and it just felt like there was no lying involved, and that felt really good, knowing that I was with someone that was being honest and not bullshitting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's really nice being a new agent and meeting people in this industry. You get to see a lot of different agents, and just meeting Brian and seeing that he was just himself, it's kind of fresh. So,
Yeah, I imagine as a new agent too, if you're going around to different brokerages or real estate agents to try to get that mentorship too, that you're like, it's a lot of fluff, like from other people too. Mm-hmm. They're telling you, oh, I do this number, like I do this much business. I'm gonna coach you. I'm gonna send you this, and it's like, okay, how much of this is real?
Right.
So But yeah, you probably like 95% with him.
I'm in the 95th percentile. Okay.
5% bullshit.
Depends on if we're telling war stories or not, right?
Yeah. And I don't know because I just met you in person for the first time. But you come from the military?
My husband's in the Navy.
Okay, cool. Did not know that. Nice.
Yeah, stationed here in San Diego.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas. We both are.
Oh, nice.
And we're far away from home.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how I ended up here with the team and everything, but I'm glad I'm here.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
Our Align Mortgage headquarters is actually in San Antonio too. So next time you go back, you have to check it out.
Oh.
They have a pretty cool building.
yeah, I heard that and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a very much like the universe gives you signs. And when
Yeah.
Brian told me San Diego with you guys, I
Yeah.
was like, interesting.
Nice.
That's how I felt comfortable with my decision.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I
That
dig
could
it.
lead to maybe opportunities when you do move back home.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
She'll keep it in mind.
Here's the
Yeah.
here's the team lead for our
Okay.
expansion team in San
There we
Antonio.
go.
Nice. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
stoked
for
you're
having
here.
me here.
Absolutely.
Now it's your turn, Jake.
Man, what do I say about this guy?
Well, it doesn't have to be just about Brian. It can be about the team.
So here's my scoop. So Brian and I, we met pretty early on. It's been what, three and a half years now at this point.
Oh yeah, I would say almost 4, dude.
Yeah,
I would say longer than that
Yeah.
because you and I went to like a Mexican lunch date
yeah.
when you were with another brokerage.
Yeah. So I was with another brokerage prior, right? Kind of doing my own thing. And us military types, we really try to like, steer our own ship, right? Be the captain of our own, vessels or boats. What do you call it in the Navy?
Ships.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just like captain of your own destiny. Maybe? I don't know.
Captain of my own baby.
The master of your own destiny.
So I was doing my own thing, and then I actually hit Brian up on social media or wherever it was, because I could get the vibe, being a Marine Corps vet myself. He's a Marine Corps vet, right? There's that connection right away. So
Yeah.
I hit him up and I said, look, I'd love to just chat your ear off. I had, I think I was with the other brokerage for a year and a half, and we were talking, and it took a couple meetings, a couple beers, a couple conversations, and probably a year later,
Yeah.
him and I would basically, he's like, look, I want to start a team, a real estate team, and at that point we were kind of doing our own thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the goal was to start a team that was catered towards military and veterans, us being vets, right? So from there, I think shortly before that, Tip This for a Real Estate team came online, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And the goal is to help serve and protect veterans, meaning protecting them while they're trying to buy or sell a home, right?
Yeah.
From all the other crap that's going on. So I knew that being a part of a team is a lot better of a scenario than being on your own. Kind of like what you were mentioning, kind of like why we're all here, because in the military, you're a part of teams, and that's the best way you can really thrive.
Yeah. That's
So
absolutely, man. There's not one military unit that's ever existed in the entire world that won wars with a bunch of individuals.
Yep. And personally, like we're all realtors here. You guys have all backed me up. Like when we're out of pocket, we're out of town, we're on vacation, we're with family, we got each other's back. So when you're doing business with somebody on Tip of the Spear Real Estate team, like you're not doing business with just one of us, you got all of us, right? So you got a whole team that's supporting each other, and that's huge.
Got a whole admin section and a bunch of agents behind us.
And you've mentioned out of pocket before. When you say out of pocket, you're talking like football quarterback terms out of pocket, right? Not out of pocket like expense wise.
Well, no, also military, like triple O, out of pocket, meaning like you're on vacation, you're out of the office, you're gone, you're not able to answer communications, right? Mm-hmm. So somebody else is there to back you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Kyle, Brian, you want to touch on market conditions, things that you're doing to help the clients overcome some of these market conditions?
Oh man.
Go on all day about this topic.
Yeah. So It's the last couple years have been tough, right, for our buyers. They've been great for sellers because everybody's making a ton of money on their houses and stuff with the ridiculous amount of market growth we've had. I'm seeing and I'm anticipating a lot of a slowdown this year with the market. Kyle, you can kind of talk on interest rates in a second and all that kind of stuff on the lending side, but a lot of buyers are starting to get burned out. There's people that have been looking for houses for a year plus. Not any of our clients, but there are people out there that have been looking for a long time, and they're just getting tired of losing one after the next. So for us, I mean, we have a few tricks up our sleeve that we can use to get our offers accepted, and it's worked out. We closed 48 transactions last year as a team of 3. Yeah, it's not bad. So, I mean, we figure out ways to make it happen, but here soon, I'm thinking there's going to be a shift in the market that's going to start maybe not benefiting buyers so much financially with great interest rates that they've been getting for so long, but more like less competition, right? Because typically what happens when interest rates go up, the buyer pool shrinks, which means houses will sit on the market for a little bit longer, higher inventory, lower demand, lower cost, right? That's kind of how things typically go. So I think that's what we'll see this year. We've been in the past couple of years in so many situations where we've had our offers win over like 20 or 30 others because of good communication with the other agent, because we know how to write contracts. I've been on the listing side so many times where I get this contract that it looks like the agent wrote it in crayon, is like misspelling words, like clearly freaking didn't proofread his work or is missing a whole bunch of stuff. And you're just like, dude, how can you be professional? You don't even know how to write a damn contract. You know what I mean? It's like one of the things we do the most. And it's one of the most important things for our clients to cover their asses too. Yeah. So knowing how to write contracts. So we're actually writing good contracts. We always double check our contracts before we send them out, for talking about, but like purchase offers and stuff like that. We always double check them before we send them to the world to make sure that there's nothing missed. We're super thorough. Like I said, good comms with the other agents. We have a lot of tricks up our sleeve that we can use for, to get our offers accepted, escalation clauses, close on time promises, appraisal gaps. There's all kinds of stuff that we've done in the past that's been successful for our whole team, not just myself, but for our whole team to get our offers accepted and beat out other offers that are, conventional, where guys are coming out with $100,000 down, which is hard to compete with, but it's not impossible. So the biggest thing that I can say for people thinking about buying a house right now is don't fucking quit. Just stay in it. You got this. The end goal is homeownership. It might take a little bit more time than it would have 5 years ago if you were looking, or it probably will in the next couple years. But right now, if you're looking to buy a house, interest rates, even though they've been going up, are still historically low, right? The more houses you look at, the more offers you write, the more of a shot you have at it. So don't lose that wind in your sails. Just remember, keep your eyes on the prize, man. At the end of the road is homeownership. At the end of this tunnel is homeownership, and there's no better feeling in the world when you just own your own piece of America. It's awesome. I've owned 2 houses in my life now, and it's freaking pretty cool. So keep it up. Don't quit. Stay in it. Especially for military folks, we've all been trained to never quit, to never run away, never surrender, always fight. Apply that towards your mission or your journey towards homeownership. You can do it. It's absolutely possible. You just can't fucking quit.
Oh yeah.
You want to touch on market conditions from your standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, so without getting too much into details with the interest rates, though, I mean, like Brian touched on, and if anyone that does track any of that, interest rates have been going up. I mean, in 2020 or 2021, we hit all-time lows, as far as like people with interest rates out, how ridiculously low that I never thought I would see. Mm-hmm. They stayed there for about a year, and I think that's what created such a seller's market, though, too, obviously, because
big time.
Because everyone's like wanted to take advantage of the low interest rate, because you're getting a house not for free, but I mean a very, very low interest over the life of the loan. Pretty close. So it stayed there for a little bit, and obviously that created a more of a buyer pool, where we saw a listing would go on Friday, and on Sunday or Monday when they're reviewing offers, there'd be 40, 50 offers with going 100K over, So, I mean, it's been a crazy, wild, like, year and a half, I'd say. And interest rates have been climbing up, right? And a lot more steady, or less steady than I thought they would, kind of shooting up, where I thought it'd be more gradual throughout the year. I mean, so I think with that, my like foresight, what I've been reading and what I'm seeing is that, it is going to kind of scare some people away where, they like we're in the 3s or whatever, and they're just like, oh, we're not in the 2s anymore. So maybe I do want to wait, to purchase. So I think it's going to lessen the buyer pool, which is going to create a little more inventory and less competition, hopefully. So like Brian was saying, I mean, it might not be as low, but it's still historically low for interest rates. So, keep looking and making sure that you're talking to the right people. But so I do see it kind of settling down a little bit, where I'm not going to say it's going to be a buyer's market anytime soon, but that's one thing. I think the other important thing to touch on that too is, like, if I pre-approved someone, say 6 months ago, and they're still not in a home yet, they've been looking, like I said, interest rates have gone up, So if they're maxed out at their pre-approval, say like 600K, when it was like 2.5% interest rate, now if we're talking like, in the 3s or something like that, they might not be approved for that house too. So for anyone listening, make sure you talk with your lender or someone else, being like, am I still approved for this, or is it still within my budget too? Because you might be approved for it, but it also might be, if you want to spend $3,000 a month, with a higher interest rate, you might be looking at $3,500, $3,800 now, and you're like, ugh, do I even want to be looking at that price range now?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's important to touch base with your lender to make sure you are still there. So
Right. So how often should they touch base with you to check on their rates?
I mean, I would say, I mean, your lender should be doing it automatically. I mean, I try to make it a point when I pre-approve people to still, like, call them, text them, be like, hey, like, how's it going, type thing. But if I see a big shift where they are looking at certain price points where they're not approved for that, obviously, like, I'm going to be calling them to let them know and see if anything's changed with their financial situation or credit, because they might have paid something off.
Before writing offers.
Before writing offers,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, just make sure you're, like, you guys are all really, really good about that. Just making sure that, like, hey, can I get some numbers, make sure at this price point they're good. So 100% before you write an offer, make sure that's good. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, your agents, the listing agents, the sellers. Yeah, as far as touching base, I mean, like, once a month, I mean, it's good to just check in, just say, like, hey, like, kind of where are they at right now.
Okay.
We can't lock in the rate until you actually get an accepted contract, and, like, today might look a lot different than yesterday, so, like, no one's going to give you a firm number, but like I said, the most important thing is, like, making sure you're still approved with that amount.
So those numbers can change daily.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, we'll see, especially this year, we're seeing some huge shifts. I mean, like, where 50 basis points, I mean, like, it goes up or down 0.5%. So
That's
all
freaking wild, dude.
yeah. So normally it's like on a tenth of that, but we've been seeing these huge swings up, or then it corrects itself the next day. So it's just been, and there's so much to do with it too, because I mean, everyone thinks the Fed sets the interest rate, and they said they are going to hike it 3 to 4 more times this year, which does have an effect on interest rates. But it's also the jobs report, like, as far as unemployment claims, and also what's going on with inflation. That's a huge one. Yeah. So they're trying to correct all of that. So there's like 100 different factors that actually make up what goes into interest rates. But
Oh, wow.
so yeah, so it's just important to kind of touch base with your lender and real estate agent and stuff like that.
So on that, and just to kind of speak on what you're talking about, so for the buyer, for the person that's looking to buy the house, absolutely, once a month, probably legit, but understand that also your agent, the agent who's helping you try to find a house, is probably on the phone with the lender just about every single day, talking about you, talking about your loan, talking about the houses you're looking at. Kyle and I have talked almost every day for the past 5 years with our clients, and
Yeah, unfortunately, you're on my speed dial.
Yeah.
You're my favorites.
one of your favorites. All right. But it's important for us as well. And, to make sure that we know exactly what we have going on too. Cause I don't want to show a client a house if I know they're pre-approved right now for 600, and they want to buy a house for 600, or maybe they were pre-approved, a month ago for 600, but now they can only go to 540. I don't want to continue showing them houses at 600 because that's now above what they can do, right? So that's something that's important. Why him and I talk all the time about that stuff. what's the deal? Where are interest rates at? What's going on? How do our clients look? How's this affecting our clients? So for people that are looking to buy a house, or for anybody in the consumer world, know that there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we're watching to just try to take care of as much as possible. And for you agents out there, keep that in mind, man. You should be on the phone with your lender a lot. You should be speaking with that person all the time, and you should be communicating your clients' needs. They should be communicating what the clients can do. Because the best way to serve our clients, again, is by having a good team behind you. So make sure you're taking care of all that, and you're checking all those boxes. Your clients deserve it.
Absolutely. Before we were talking about some promises as well. Do you want to touch on, close on time promises, or any help, that buyers may get with getting out of leases or anything like that?
Go ahead.
I mean, well, as far as the close on time, we haven't put out anything official. I don't know what you've done with the contracts or something like that. But I'm assuming you probably did, like, if it goes over, we're willing to pay like $100 a day or $200 a day or something like that.
Something like that if it's necessary.
Yeah.
Right.
Which my company, because a lot of that will fall, if it's in our control, meaning like on the loan side, not the property, like my company's always willing to, like, we'll own it. You know what I mean? We do 21-day closes, and if it's late and the seller is asking for something, or, it's going to hurt the buyer in any way, like, we'll definitely chip in as far as being like, hey, like, our mistake on this part, this took too long because of the underwriting, or I didn't do my job well enough. But yeah.
Caveat, we've never had to do that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but it's buying a home. I mean, you guys can all attest this. It's not always. We've had some really, really smooth ones, but it's just not just like, hey, write a contract, inspection, appraisal, close the loan. Like, I mean, that's how it's drawn up. But there's this, you guys do your inspections, and there's something little, like, with the appraiser calls out something, or you get Tidewater when the loan is just perfectly, like, going along when you're ready to close, and you get Tidewater on it.
There's always some hurdle.
There's always something that comes up, and that's why working with a newer agent, like, I would recommend working with an agent like is on a team where they know, like, hey, I've come across this before, like, here's how we do this. Because if you're working with someone that's just brand new that doesn't have anyone that's supporting them, like, that's going to be hard to overcome.
Yep. Having somebody, and even if it's a newer agent, just make sure that they're on a team or have somebody that supports.
Absolutely,
exactly. Because
because we've almost seen everything at this point.
I
mean,
I
you
know
never know.
everything.
Like, I just had something happen yesterday, and I've been doing this for 6 years now in May, and I was like, shit, I did not know that.
Yep.
Like, I was like, I'm still learning, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're doing our first USDA loan right now, and
Yes.
Kyle and I are just learning new shit every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Are we doing a close on time promise on that one?
Nope. No, but yeah, I mean, and that's huge. I mean, your agent, especially if they're new, they need to have a support network, and also make sure that they have your back, man. Make sure they're looking out for you, not themselves. What was your other question? Oh, the out of lease thing. Yeah, so we've had it in the past before too, where we've had clients that wanted to buy a house, but they were in a lease that they couldn't get out of, or their company that was the property manager or landlord or whatever wasn't allowing them out of their lease. And we've actually stepped in before to either help cover their, they're breaking their contract fees, or to find somebody to rent that property without having to deal with, all the stuff that they have to deal with when it comes to,
As far as like losing a security deposit.
Exactly.
Like that,
The security deposit, or changing carpets out, or this or that, or painting, or like all this stuff. We've actually done it before. I've put a lockbox on a rental property, and I've listed it as a rental property, and I've shown it to potential renters. And I've gotten an application done and gotten a renter into a property while it was still being rented by my client who was trying to buy a house. And as soon as we got him into the house, he got out of there, had to pay a couple $100 to clean, something like that. But his contract stated, breach was like 3 months rent or something like that, which was several $1,000s. We were able to get him out for him to just pay for the place to be cleaned up for a couple $100. He bought a house. The property management company got a new renter, just basically took over their lease or signed a new lease or whatever. And it was, easy peasy. The guy was out one day, cleaners came in the next day, new renter was in the next day. There was no hiccups whatsoever. So if you have a lease, and you want to buy a house, but you're stuck in a lease, there's always a way to get out of it. There's always a way. You just got to be creative. And call us. We're creative people.
There we go. It sounded like, or it seemed like you had something to touch on with in terms of hurdles and.
Well, I was also going to add, like, what a lot of people, our clients, don't necessarily realize at first is how many people are truly working on your behalf behind the scenes. So, like, Kyle, on your team on the lending side, how many people are there? 5, 10, 15 people, like, that will touch that file? I mean, there's a lot of
There's
people.
probably about like 6 people that touch the loan on my side.
And
Like
that-
that's just mine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's-
like between like an underwriter, the loan officer assistant, myself, a closer, processor. Like
Yep.
there's a lot of behind the curtains.
That's not even talking about what the VA's got to do when
Right.
they get their mitts all over that thing
Yeah.
too.
So I bring that up just because, again, like, there's a team of people working on your behalf to make sure we get to the finish line,
Yeah.
right? And
You
it's
got
not.
title and escrow and
Yeah.
so many other parties. And I think
Transaction
the
coordinators,
agent is so
transaction
important in the
managers.
whole process.
Yeah.
The agent is like the glue that keeps it all together.
Yeah. And that's just one side. Then you got the whole other side, listing side or whatever it is. I mean, there's a crap ton of people. They're trying to see this to the end. So yeah, it's amazing what happens to make a closing happen.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, if nobody else has anything to say, I think we'll close it out.
Yeah.
This was a fun one. This is the first one here at Align Mortgage.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Good one.
Can't
All
wait
right,
to
I'll
do
bring
more.
beer next time.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's way too
Yeah.
somber in here.
Yeah.
I feel too sober to be in this room right now. This is weird. Podcasting sober. What are we?
All right. So on behalf of Tip of the Spear Real Estate Team, powered by Keller Williams, and hosted by Align Mortgage. See you guys next time.
Adios.
See ya.